Raise your hand if you've ever been busy. Raise your hand if you've ever got tired and feel like you just need a couple days off. Most people would have both hands up right now. That's our world, fast-paced and income-driven. That's why we get caught up in our own lives so often, and that's why it's understandable when most people don't focus on worries that aren't their own. So what makes someone become a humanitarian? Someone whose whole life focuses on the welfare of other humans.
When you go back and you see kids that were living on the streets, kids had no structure, they had no routine, people who had nothing, they didn't have meals. When you see that all of a sudden they're waking up, they have structure, they have something to do, they have a meal in their belly, their life changes completely. They, like I said, their self-esteem changes, their self-worth, their ability to know who they are in the world and what they have the potential of becoming, to give that hope, to give that dream, and then to watch people actually use that to do good for themselves and others it's amazing. It becomes an addiction.
And with Serena's help, we'll find the meaning of life to a humanitarian.
Good morning, good morning, and good morning. If you're here, you're in the right place. The Coaches Lounge with myself, Barbara J. Beckley. I get so excited every Friday. Every Friday I get excited because this show that I created, and I thought that was very important because this show is about really introducing you, the audience out there, people that are watching this show, introducing you to some wonderful, amazing coaches, consultants, and educators. Now, it's called the Coaches Lounge, but I said I didn't want to just have a certain niche and just say coaches, coaches, coaches. But I also wanted to give love to consultants and educators. Because when you think about it, all three of these people that have that after their name is pouring into your life, either by, teaching you or helping you in a financial aspect, health, personal development, and the list goes on. The list goes on. And I don't feel like they get the love. I really feel like they don't get the love that they really deserve. So you get to understand who they are, what they do, because they're a light for the world. When you think about it, they're a light for you when you're discouraged. They're a light for you when you're trying to figure out what tips or what kind of strategy should I do in my own world. They come in as a coach and say, look, I got you. I got your back. With my experience, I'm going to make sure that I help you move the needle in your life. I tell people everybody should have a certain kind of coach in your life, and sometimes more than one. I mean, I'm a coach, I'm a strategist, and I have two coaches. So we all should have someone in our lives really to that next level. It's like 2 steps higher than you to make sure that you're moving towards your goals in your life. So that's what I do. I bring on these coaches, these wonderful, amazing experts that they're just a genius in their lane of excellence, and have a conversation with them. And I always say, you need to get to know your coach. You get to know who they are, what they do. And then at that point in time, you can ask yourself, maybe I need to call them up. Maybe I need them in my life, or I know somebody that needs that particular person in their lives. So this is what we do. I have fun every Friday so you can get to know these wonderful experts. And today I have 2 wonderful guests. And when I have ladies on the show, I say queens. But when I have men on the show, I call them kings. So we have a wonderful king coming on this morning, Manohar. He is going to be talking about, he's a sleep coach. And I thought that was very interesting because I said, you know what? I need to listen to him right now because I'm not getting to sleep. I'm just going to be honest. I'm open to things because I like to be vulnerable so people can understand that we all might be in that same boat. Yeah, my sleep patterns are kind of, I know. And one thing about it is, I push myself and I'd be like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. Let me go to sleep. Then I look up, it's 2 o'clock. Then I look up, it's 5 in the morning. I'm like, okay, I just got 1 hour of sleep. Really, Barbara? Can't function on that. You can't function on that. So this wonderful coach, and I know he's just a phenomenon coach. He's a speaker. He is in India, which I love because that makes my show global. Yes. I love bringing on people that's from other countries because we get to learn so much. So much. Never put yourself, real quickly before I bring this king on, never put yourself and just keep yourself in a box. You can learn from so many other global reach. Always have that global reach. So before we bring on this wonderful king, I always have to bring him on the right way. You just can't just put him on the screen. So we'll be right back and we will listen to this wonderful king and talk about what he does in people's lives. Hello. Yes, king.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara, for that great introduction, and I really like.
Oh, no problem, King. Well, I always tell people, with coaches and people that come in people's life, you're doing a phenomenal job. I just want to give you so much kudos for that before we even start the conversation. Because, it takes time and effort to, work with people and individuals of whatever area that you're helping them in. And sometimes it's for a month, sometimes it's for 6 months, sometimes it might be for a lifetime. You never know. And you're taking your expertise, your time to make sure somebody else is doing what their needs are. So before we get into certain functions that you do as a sleep coach, right? I just want to make sure, and other things that you do. I know there's much other things that you do, but we really want to tie into that because I really thought that was interesting because I never, just to be honest, I never really heard of a sleep coach. So this was intriguing. This was very intriguing to me when I was reading your description. So before we get into that, what made you? Because I always like to get the backstory of why, of where you're
Yes.
at right now. So give us a little take on that.
Yeah. Okay. Like you mentioned about sleep. So I was seeing the intro where you talked about we live in an age where we have so much to do, and in fact, I was also like that back 4 years back. So I had a lot of things to do, and it was a never-ending to-do list kind of a thing. And plus, we also go through these things. I mean, of course, we do have relationships with our personal self and also our family and all those things. So back in 2019 time frame, exactly 4 years before, I had this issue of insomnia. So where I used to struggle to go to sleep. So it used to be like my family used to just, my wife and my kid used to go to sleep, and I used to just wait for sleep, but and it was never coming. And the problem was like I started searching for it, and I was so desperate to fix it. Like the more the desperate I became, the harder it became to sleep. And I started having so many side effects because of that. I started losing hair. I was very low on energy. I had acid reflux. So basically, it's like burning in your stomach kind of a thing. Even though I eat early or not very spicy food kind of, but still I had all these problems. But then what happened was I was like everyone who thinks that there is a problem, they want an instant fix. So I was also like that. I'm no exception. So I tried to get the sleeping pill, and I went to a psychologist, and I expected that he will give me a sleeping pill. But then he was more of suggesting me like what is wrong with my thought patterns and all those things, the back end story, the fundamentals he was trying to correct. But then like I was so desperate, and I went to a psychiatrist, and he diagnosed that I was on anxiety, and he gave me anti-anxiety pills. And I was on anti-anxiety pills. But then the big thing that happened was before going to the psychiatrist, I started practice of meditation, which is like I used to just close my eyes and then focus on the breath. Of
Mm.
course, I was not very good at it, and in fact, I've been practicing since long time, and I'm not always good at it. But then, what happened back there was the biggest change was like it was anxiety and then insomnia. So it was a vicious circle. It was always going in a circle and circle kind of a thing. I was always worried that today night will I sleep better, or what will happen if I don't sleep better tomorrow morning because I have to give a presentation, or at work I can't concentrate, and all those kinds of things. But then what happened was when you do this practice of meditation, where you just focus on the breath. Of course, our mind wanders here and there, keeps thinking about all those things. But then when you are slowly bringing back the mind to the present moment, that is where the vicious circle was broken. And it's not like a magical thing when I just started and showed immediate result, but I persisted with that practice, kept doing this again and again, and then basically the fear of sleep completely was out. But still, I continued with that practice, and then I was able to get over this problem, and then my sleep schedules were back to normal.
Wow. That's you know what? Wow, Kate. I was just thinking about what you were saying about with the anxiety and with insomnia, that cycle that you're dealing with, and you're trying to figure out why can I just get some sleep? I just want to get some rest, and you never think about that. And I'm kind of glad you didn't go get some stuff, but I'm glad that you went beyond that because a lot of times it's so easy just to take that medication or that pill and say, okay, this is good. But to me, that's like a band-aid. That's not used to it, but it sounds like you get to it.
Uh, Barbara, your voice is getting chopped for me.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes,
Okay. Yeah, I was saying that you were getting to the root of the problem, not just taking medication for it.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And now I want to get into a little bit because there's to one thing about what I always like to do on the Coaches Lounge is talk about like two key points of what you do when you're working with individuals. And I know one of them you said, people struggle with sleep issues related to external hacks
Mhm.
um, and to overcome the insomnia. So, when you're talking to people, when you're working with people, what type of internal hacks that you have to deal with?
So the typical thing which I see, Barbara, is when people are desperate, like I told in my story also, people are so desperate to fix their sleep. So that is like it clearly shows in their body language, the language they talk. They want this. They want sleep to happen ASAP. But the problem is, the more the pressure you put on sleep, the harder it becomes. So that is the first thing which I talk to people. So I actually take the mind off sleep. So I keep asking questions like, what's your favorite color? Tell me about your favorite childhood incident, about your friend or your mother, your pastime memories, your hobbies, and all those kinds of things. And then once what happens is take your foot off the pedal. So then actually I get into the core issue, which is like what exactly is the thing tipping point which is giving I mean, for example, let's say that in my case, it was like I used to put so much emphasis on the pillow which I had. So, or like some memory which haunts, uh, which is just see, everything has nothing has a meaning except the meaning we give it to it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
then I ask them to reframe that. So once they are able to reframe it, initially they will not be good at reframing, but then I ask them to reframe it again and again, and then I explain few breathing techniques. One is called as alternate nostril breathing. I'll quickly demonstrate it for you. So all you need to do is you need to have your two thumbs, close your left nostril, and then inhale with your right nostril,
Mm-hmm.
close off your right nostril, and exhale with your left nostril.
Okay.
This actually what it does is our body is completely divided into two hemispheres, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. So what exactly this practice is doing is it's actually balancing the energy between the right hemisphere and the right hemisphere. So this actually brings kind of balance. And then there is another technique, which few other breathing techniques which I talk about. One is called as box breathing, where you inhale for 4 seconds, wait, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. So this is actually, these simple breathing techniques actually help in breaking that anxiety. And then we go to the actual story where, which is holding us back. And then once you talk, many time what happens is the story is in our head, and then we don't share it. So once we don't have, we keep holding that burden of the past, it becomes a very big burden, and it becomes like never ending thing. So once you share it with someone which who is just no way concerned with that part, then you relieve the burden of the past, and then you feel much relaxed. So that is one of the core component which I.
Wow. I see. That's why I always tell people coaches are important, because I would have never knew, King, that doing that just that exercise alone, I was like, wow. And I didn't understand about the two hemispheres. Like you said, that really can help you in that moment. Trying to help you relieve yourself from getting that sleep. And then, like you said, I like how you're digging a little bit deeper on trying to understand the why, because there's
Mhm.
always a why behind it. I mean, I found out, just my example for myself, like I said earlier, about me pushing myself and trying to get everything done, and time is passing. Next thing you know, it's 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I only got 1 hour to get to sleep. And then even me trying to get that 1 hour, it's taken me a while to try to relax and release so I can feel, like I can go to sleep. Because I always tell people, I just can't just lay down and go to sleep just like that. It's going to take me a minute. It's going to take me,
Yes, okay.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
To do.
these are the few things which I talk about, and I talk about building atomic habits. So like one of them which I was talking about, of balancing your things, and once you build on these atomic habits and you persevere, that is when you see the big changes.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what other things that you can kind of give to like our audience about sleep?
Yeah.
Because I know some people they meditate, some people might meditate. Do you think it's good to have? Okay, this is my question for you, Coach. Do you
Yeah.
think it's good to have a TV or music on to put you to sleep? Because I know some people use that.
Yeah. So that's totally up person to person, Barbara. So one other thing which I have been personally doing, and I found a lot of differences. The practice when you end the day, like you talked about, feeling that you have to achieve a lot of things and all those things. But when you end the day with the practice of gratitude, so being thankful for the very little things or small things that are there in your life, and the good things that you have achieved, then what happens is our brain basically is a survival mechanism. So it wants to survive, and it wants to avoid pain, and keep you moving towards pleasure. So when you end the day with a practice of gratitude, what it does is it keeps your brain. So there's a part of our brain called as amygdala, which is keeping on thinking about protecting us from any danger. So when you end the day with the practice of gratitude, what happens is the amygdala gets sees that, okay, there's nothing to worry about. Then it completely shuts down, and then the relaxation process becomes better and better. And then when you are trying to go to sleep, you have a good night's sleep. So that is the thing. And related to your question related to TV and music, that's totally personal choice. But the thing is, what I feel is, if it relaxes you, okay, so if it doesn't put your brain into fast forward mode, thinking so many possibilities, so many things and all those things, if you can enjoy the present moment and live in that present moment, I feel that's a good thing to do. But if, let's say, for example, everyone gives the suggestion on the internet saying that read a paperback book, kind of a thing. But that actually backfired for me, because the problem was, when I used to read and I felt that some part is still incomplete, my mind was always on the incomplete part, wanted to finish it. So that actually activated my brain. So if it activates your brain and puts you into a phase where you want to do it, complete it, then it's not a recommended thing. But if you are able to some people have like they're able to read for some 10 pages, 15 pages, shut the book, relax, and just go to bed. So that's relaxation is completely a personal choice, is what I would say.
Yeah, yeah, coach. And I love what you said about gratitude. I never thought of that. That is so awesome. Thank you for bringing that up as one of the things to do, because we need to do that anyway. I mean, and just in general, we need to be grateful for where we are, what we're doing. And if people have a different religious preference, everybody has their own preference of thinking God, or who you would think. And that, to me, like you said, that can get you in a zone, and then a relaxation zone when
Yeah.
you do that, because you're kind of giving out by saying, you know what, I'm thankful for certain things in my life. I love that. And then, it was funny you said about the book. Yeah, because if I'm sitting here reading a book, the only thing I'm thinking about is I want to finish it, and so then I'm continuously staying up. So it's backfiring from me trying to get some sleep.
Yes.
I love how you brought that up. So I want to ask you before we close out here, is I know you're also an author,
Yeah.
King. So do you can you tell us about one of your books
Yeah.
and describe it for people?
Yeah, so you described in the intro section also that that was my book called My Sleepless Nights, a story of victory over insomnia. So that's actually my experience of how I put it this way, Barbara. It is like how I planted the seed of insomnia, how I nurtured the seed, and how it became into a big tree. And after that, with the practice of meditation, and how I was able to uproot that tree. So that is what I have described in the book. So that is the story of me going into insomnia and how I was able to overcome it. So my conversations with my psychologist and the practice of meditation. So initially I started the practice of meditation with an attitude of desperation that I want to fix. Want to fix my sleep ASAP. That is what was giving me a lot of issues. But then after that, when I persisted with the practice of meditation, when I was able to just relax, focus on relaxation, and I persisted, uh, I overcame that. So that is what I have described in that book.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm telling everybody. Let me see. We have some wonderful audience. Patty. She giving some love to you. Talking about yes, gratitude. She
Yeah, thank
understands that. Let's see what else she's saying. I place my head on the pillow and go right to sleep. Yeah, well, you said earlier about pillows. Sometimes it depends on that too, right? Um, yeah, she said make sure not to any tech TV sleep.
you.
Dark curtains work for her. It's funny she said that now, coach. One thing about it, before I go to sleep, I have to be like cut off everything. I can't have like lights on and all that kind of stuff. I have to kind of be in the dark. That's just, a lot of people, different ways. For me to kind of just shut down. Because I feel like when I shut the lights down, everything will shut myself down at the same time, so I can try to get that sleep.
Yes.
Do you hear that sometimes or recommend that?
I only recommend something which is relaxing to you. So the problem is when I say like you have to follow this, people just take it to like follow it as a military discipline kind of a thing, and then they follow it to the T. So the problem is, see, when it comes to other things, like when you want to complete your presentation, or when you want to do something, or when you want to do a marathon or something, trying hard makes sense. But when it comes to sleep, trying harder actually backfires. So that is what. So you have to focus on relaxation. So what relaxes you is totally personal. So there is no one size fits all approach like you talked about. So something can relax me, but it can totally backfire on you. So that you have to. It's a personal choice where you have to find a relaxation routine, like what the audience was saying, where she's able to not put any screen and all those things. So that definitely relaxes you. If that relaxes you, then that's a very good practice. And yeah, the more or less you can say that having a half an hour before going to bed without any technology will definitely help is a general recommendation.
Yeah, I think because, like you said, it keeps your mind going and looking. Because I know sometimes if I had a TV on, if something, depending on what's on the TV, that's going to
Yes.
really dictate how I get my rest. So if something is nice and it is funny, then I seem like I had that pleasant rest. But if something on there that's like, like the news that they're giving something, some bad stuff that happened, then my mind is already, I'm going to sleep with that on my head, on my brain. And I'm not getting that proper rest because I'm just, thinking about that. So yeah,
Yes.
you're right. I think everybody has their own technique, but I love how you bring that out of people and talk to them and encourage them to see what works for them. So
Correct.
that's what makes you the expert of in that in your category, and I just really appreciate you for that. Now, what I want to do, King, I want to take myself down for just 30 seconds, and I want you to give anything that you want to think of, any lasting impressions to the audience, and then we'll come up and wrap it up and how they can contact you. So I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the core thing which I want to stress is, don't try to desperately fix your sleep. Find a relaxation routine. However, it could be the practice of gratitude. It could be the practice of drawings, music, walking, or anything that relaxes you is a good thing. And focus on relaxing yourself, and don't fight hard with sleep. So the harder you fight, the difficult it becomes. It's just easy to just leave the tug of war and relax and focus more on the persistence aspect. Though it seems harder, but once you are able to relax and able to live in the present, it will help you better. And relax regarding how to reach out to me. So you can see that. You can see my email ID that's getting flashed, or you can also see, you can visit my website called manohargrandhi.com, or you can also search my book My Sleepless Nights on Amazon, uh, a story of victory over insomnia. So these are the ways to reach out to me.
Oh my God, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on the Coaches Lounge. You are always welcome to come back. I always love my guests because I consider you as a family after you come on. And if anything else that you have, to share, or when you write your other book, because I can see it coming, I can see another book coming. Please come on, and we're here to help you promote that and just promote. So if anybody's listening to this wonderful king today, if you need to reach out to him, here's his email address. He has his he's talked about his website. If you are having problems, or even if you know somebody that's having, because sleep is very important. Sleep is very important in your life. It regenerates you, it gets you back, on track again. Mind, it takes the whole body, because it has to really rest. So this king is doing a wonderful job with people when it comes to that. Please reach out to him. Thank you again, sir, so much. And you take care. I wish you all success. And I'll
Thank-
see you soon.
yeah, thank you for inviting me. And yeah, like you said, yeah, I will definitely reach out to you sometime later.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
You too. Bye.
Wow, wow, wow. I see. I told you that's why I love bringing on these different coaches, consultants, educators, because you learn so much. See, don't think that you know everything, okay? I'm going to put it out there right now because I know I don't know everything. That's why I always love talking to these wonderful experts and in their lanes of genius. There's a reason why God has put certain unique things within inside of you. And that's why I always tell people that everyone here on this earth, and I'm on my soapbox right now, everyone here in the world, out there in the universe, you all have a certain purpose. You all have a certain uniqueness in you. And just bring it out because you don't know that's helping you get through your life to be happy, to have that happiness and joy in your life. And it is also helping others because whatever you have in uniqueness in you, people are drawn to that and they need you. We need each other. So always remember that. And thank you so much. Like I said, I call Kings and Queens that comes on my show for coming on. Now we have another, okay, this is not only it. We have another wonderful guest coming on, a coach, a strategist. Now I have a queen. See, I told you I call the men kings, I call the women queens. And you know I use that so much when it comes to women because I always want to remind them how important, and they are royalty. Women are royalty. So with that, this wonderful lady, Miss Walton, I mean, oh my God, when I was looking at her description and she basically, because I was looking for guests that day. And when I seen that she signed up, I'm like, yes, I get a chance to talk to her, get a chance to get to know her, get a chance for you to get to know her. And she empowers entrepreneurs to start and grow sustainable businesses by implementing a strategic, I love that word, everybody knows I love that word, process in planning, marketing, and branding that drives results. Not only sitting back saying what you need to do, but drives results while managing their mental wellness. Now, this is right on track because everybody knows we are in the month of mental awareness and it is real. Okay, I always say that mental health is real, very important. And I love what she's doing because that's something that's needed. She's a business strategist and a CEO of SWI Management Group, and she is doing an amazing job for others. She is a light to the world. And with that, I can't just bring them on just like, here you go, they're on the screen. I have to make sure that I do it the right way. So as soon as we see this one particular video, we'll be right back to talk to this wonderful queen. To the music with you and your pictures. I'm like, hey.
Oh, thank you. That's such a surprise. Oh my gosh. Hi, Barbara. Hi.
Hi, lady. Hi, queen. Okay, before we even start, and I should ask you this before, so I apologize on my behalf. How do you pronounce your first name, lady?
Sacha.
Sacha. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was that, but then I said, some people pronounce it differently. So I said, I don't want to mess it up.
No worries. I've heard it all.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, I don't want to be the one in that bucket. So first of all, before we even start to get to know your wonderful background and who you are and how you're doing so much in the world for people, I just want to thank you for coming on the Coaches Lounge. That's always a gift to me because I just love bringing on these wonderful experts and learning so much of what you're doing for others. And it's so important. Like I said, I've created the show because I wanted people to get to know you and others of how you're pouring into other people's lives and helping them move the needle to get to their goals. That's to me, that's a job of its own. That's a job of its own. And you know that from just, working with people, but we love that because, I do the same thing and we know that's something that is a gift in us. And I feel like you need to be spotlighted. So this is the time for the spotlight and give you all that love.
Thank you so much. And it's definitely a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for allowing me to be here as well.
Yes. So like I said with my other king that came on earlier, you're a family now, so you can come on anytime. bring all your love, bring everything that you do, anything you're promoting, because this is what I love to do. That's something that I love to do, is give visibility to others. So you are always welcome here at the Coaches Lounge.
Thank you.
Now let's get enough of that. Let's just get into you now. This is all about you. This is about this queen. So give us a little backstory of, because I love how you're dealing with the mental health, which I'm so glad, because you know how much of a need that is right now in any aspect of the world. And then you do the strategies, market, all that with people. But what got you just to say, I want to really do this?
Yeah, so it was a pivot for me, actually. A small shift that I had to make because of the pandemic. And, my story starts way, way, way beyond. We're going to just keep it right here for a little while because that's where the heart of everything that I do now is more present in my life and the lives of others. So it was a pivot that I had to do. My business was impacted by the pandemic. I'm the founder and CEO of SWI Management Group, where we do business development, planning, as well as event production. And with the event production piece of it, we doing government contracting, corporate contracts, international contracts, everything. But when the pandemic happened, it shut down my business for enough time because the event industry was shut down. And so while I was kind of going through the emotions, that's where that whole advocacy for the mental health come in at, I really was in that place. And then eventually I found that way through resilience to come out, and I relaunched my business. But when I did it as a personal brand that leads my business. And so now I'm here as the business strategist and founder of SWI Management Group. But I'm also a podcaster, a speaker, an author, and and I love every bit of building visibility for myself and doing more even for my clients.
Oh, see, we're in the same. See,
yes, I love it. We're aligned.
I get all excited. Yes, lady. So, wow. See, I always tell people, especially with this pandemic, and it was very, we all went through it. That's one thing. I always tell people that's one thing that we all went through at the same time, not just certain, like the US or global, is like we all dealt with this, but we had to make decisions. Yeah. We had to either respond or react to certain things. And you responded, Queen. You responded by saying, how can I? So, okay, things are shut down. I used to do this and stuff, but now I can't do that because this is what's going on. Yeah. So what in my world can I still bring my genius of expertise out to still help individuals? And you found that way.
Yeah.
That way. There's a lot of people did not do that. They didn't turn, they didn't change some things. They didn't look at what they can do. And I'm glad that you looked at that. You looked at the mental health, because that seemed like it just like, it's always been there. I don't know why people think all of a sudden it just popped up. There's always been a mental health crisis, but it really kind of just surged through the whole pandemic. And you've seen that and took that by the wheel.
Yeah. And then with my own experience with it, it was a challenging moment. And I feel like when it comes down to mental health and entrepreneurship, it's not a niche topic, because a lot of times people would not talk about those ugly things, that they have to go through to get to the higher level in their business that they are at, or the things they're still challenged with, even at a higher level. So I knew I went through it. I knew a lot of other people were going through it, especially with the pandemic. And it just fueled me even more. I love helping people. And so it fueled me even more to say, okay, this is what you're going to do. Get off your tail, get it together yourself, because there are so many people out here that need to hear your voice, but also your services. And so in that way, we can help grow these sustainable businesses so the foundation can be stronger. And, Wall Street Journal had a poll out, I guess it was like in 2021, and it said that over 200 businesses were closed because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was one that found my way. I wanted to throw in the towel, but I didn't. I couldn't.
So glad you
found my way. Thank you.
So glad you didn't do that.
Yeah. So now I help everyone else.
Yeah. See, that's why I said you have that genius in you that just something different than the next person, and that's what makes you unique, and that's why you need to keep moving and pushing. So one thing I like what you did, Queen, is you looked at yourself and said, you know what, I'm dealing with this. See, sometimes we just got to just be true to ourselves and say, yeah, I'm having some issues with my own mental health right now, or what's going on here, And then you figured out a way, and then you took the next step and said, okay, I figured it out. I'm working on mine. Let me help you. Especially now, I want to go in as an entrepreneur, because one of the key points you mentioned, mental health and entrepreneurship. So dive a little bit into that, of how you was helping the other entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So in my relaunch of the business, one thing that I really look at myself as, kind of diving into the holistic entrepreneurship phase. And so it deals with how you see yourself, how you are within is reflected within your business. And so when I was going through my own struggles with the pandemic, I had to dig deep inside, because it was those things that was keeping me from moving forward. And with or without a pandemic, if we have the things like procrastination and fear and, lack of confidence and all those things that battles against us, we would continue to stay still and not move. And so I had to really get out of that phase in order for me to be great. And I've always looked at myself as being a great person, but I wanted to do it also in my comfort zone. So that's another thing. You gotta, some things happen to get you out your comfort zone. And I'm just like, I'll just be great in the shadows and just keep it moving, help people be great, keep it going. And so, but that wasn't the thing for me, but I thought it was. So in a sense, the pandemic was like a blessing in disguise, for, not only for so many people who are, reaping the benefits now, but even for myself, because I could see myself better. So, that's how I incorporate the whole mental wellness part of it, is including that mindset piece, because it is so important. I have a talk that I do, is called The Blueprint of Success Begins With You. And so with that, it's that mindfulness along with the strategic process to how to manage your business. And so, in working with my clients, that's the thing I like to tackle first, because a lot of times how you move, like I said before, is based on how you feel and how you think of yourself, as well as how you think of that idea that you have, that you want to put forward. And so that's how we get it going. And just like, I feel like if you don't deal with that inside, and you could be successful, but sometimes your success or the scale of it can be because of how you're feeling and how you're thinking. Some people are scared of success. Some people are scared of failing. So it's like there's something there that's causing you to feel that way. So now let's tackle that, and so that way you could be great in your business.
Ooh, you dropping some golden nuggets now. Come on now. Ooh, okay, I gotta go peel back some of what you said, because it was so good, everything you were talking about. Well, I love what you mentioned about finding your way, even through, and I always tell people too, through the things of life that happens, the earthquakes and floods, I call it, and finding your way through all of that. You found your way, and you said in your mind to yourself, I want other entrepreneurs to find their way too. And sometimes you got to dig deep, because sometimes, I think we look at, okay, it was a pandemic, so it's easy to throw that out. It's so easy to say it was because of pandemic. It's because of pandemic. Some people still say it because of pandemic. And I'm thinking to myself, I think the pandemic helped us dig a little bit deeper and found it was not more than just a pandemic. It was maybe fear, like you said, maybe anxiety, maybe feeling that you weren't enough, maybe not believing in yourself. Maybe looking at others and putting all that in your head and say, well, I'm not there yet, so why should I even start? Or the finance of it. So it's more than just pandemic. And I'm loving how you dug deeper with your clients.
Yeah. And because I had to dig deep with myself. I feel like as a strategist or a coach, anybody who are, coaching others into what they're doing, if you are vulnerable and transparent enough to use yourself as an example, like you are a leader as it is, and a lot of coaches don't look at it like that. But when you're leading, you want to lead with yourself as well, because your testimony or your experience can really help other people a lot better than how you had to process it, because you have the keys, you have the process, so with me also, the pandemic was on the tail end of a layoff that I experienced in 2018. And so when I was laid off, I moved my side business into a full-time entrepreneurship, went heavily after government contracting, scaled 6 figures within the 6 months, kept that way, and then the pandemic happened. So I went from here to here.
Wow.
Real quick, and so, and that was part of my frustration. That was part of my even seeing myself and being limited, even in my thoughts. And so, I have that experience and I don't want anyone else to go through it. So I'm like, okay, you use that. It was a negative thing that happened, but when you could turn something that's negative into a positive and be able to allow that to propel you to go forward, then you could touch so many other people in that same midst of propelling forward.
Ooh, lady, I'm so glad. Woo, that you push through and push forward because you're helping so many other entrepreneurs and just people in general out there to really believe in themselves no matter what. And I love the blueprint of success begins with you. And I always tell people, no matter what you're doing, see, like I said, we're all on the same page here. I love it. That it has to start with you. It has to start with you. And that's why, like you said, you go to your own stories, you go to your own what you had to deal with and say, okay, how did you handle it? And that's the secret sauce, like you said. You're giving some secret sauce out for a lot of people. Because I always tell people it's one thing to say, okay, I'm a coach. But it's the next thing to say, okay, how did you help move the needle for somebody else? Or even in your own life, what did you do?
Yeah.
What are the steps that you took to get to the other side of where you're at right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of the biggest things for anybody that's watching, just, talking about what you just mentioned, is looking at your skill sets. When people start businesses, they don't think about their skill sets that they did on the job. They've been on the job for 15, 10, 5 years, 20 years, whatever the cost, whatever it is. But your skill sets is a big part of who you are. And when you could take that into your business. So if you're in a place where your business have to shift and pivot, sometimes pulling on that to take it to another level or shifting it to another level is the thing that to do. So for me, that's what I did. I'm very, very big on incorporating your skill sets. Like I have over 20 years experience in corporate America, so it's like, why not take that and put it into your business and form things around it? And you can always help yourself shift and pivot when you really look at what you're good at. What are you, and let me say this, you can be good at something, but don't want to do it. Me, all day long. You can be good at something and don't want to do it.
I think there's some people out there.
You can hold back some things, even for yourself. I was just there a few weeks ago. So, so it's real. It's a real thing. But, you want to incorporate these things because it will help to smooth out a lot of things with that planning process. And when you have that strategic alignment within your business, it does make things flow a lot easier.
Oh my God, lady, I can listen to you all day. You're just amazing. You are simply amazing. And I'm just so glad, like I said, that you looked at yourself and said, what can I do? What I learned and to help others. And you're helping so many other people. And this lady, she's not just, the coach and the strategist. She, like she said, she's a speaker. She's an author. She's like a triple threat to out there. And I love when you use the different techniques that you have in different areas. You learn how to repurpose yourself in all of the areas, not just what you do. Yeah. And that's another important thing to know, that know your genius and put it out there in all different aspects.
Yeah.
Well, as far as the author, real quickly, I want to make sure that, you mention your book.
Okay. Yeah. So I have my book right here.
That's what I'm about to say. I was like, she better have that book.
It's right here. I keep it right here by my laptop every time. But it's called The Ugly Truth About Entrepreneurship, Keys to Managing Mental Wellness. It is my story. So some of the things I've talked about is in this book. It's an interactive book. It helps you to, and this is some of the reviews I've received from it. It lets you know that you're not by yourself. So if you're going through anything, within your personal life that's affecting your business and things like that, like you're not alone. There are so many people, not just myself that's been through it. There are so many people out here that are going through it, have been through it. It's just about who's willing to talk about it. And so for me, I chose to talk about it. And I have my keys. So it's like my processes that I went through, the things that came to light for myself and what I needed to hold on to just to keep my own mental wellness and going forward are found in this book. The book is on Amazon. It's on my website. Actually, it's all over. It's global. It's everywhere. You can find it in all retailers. Globally, it's Australia, Japan, here in the States. It's everywhere. But you can Google it. And it'll come up. So
now, put that book up again. You took it down too fast. Let's put that book up again. There we go. Let's see the whole thing. Look at that. Look at the queen.
Yeah.
Truth about. See, that's the thing that I love what you did and what, some people that I talk to, myself too, is you have to be open to really putting yourself out there. I know a long time ago, people are nervous about that. People be like, I don't know. I don't want to put, but I said, do you know how many people that's going to help with your story?
Yeah.
Because first of all, you just said it, and you're right. People won't feel alone anymore. People will be like, okay, I'm the only one that might be going through this. And then you read Sasha, you read Barbara's book or whatever. And you're like, what? They're doing this and this and this, and they went through that, or they dealt with that, or they was, a little fearful of this and what. Yeah, we all, sometimes, like you said this last week, things pop up in your life. So I'm glad that you put pen to paper, Queen, and was able to put that out there, because people need to hear your story. People really.
And one fun fact that I always like to share with this book, because it's so real, just removing the mask. That's one of the keys in here too, you guys. But this picture I took was in the midst of the pandemic. It was a selfie.
Really?
It was just a selfie.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a picture I took in the midst of the pandemic. Even with that smile, I had all that stuff going on. So I said, you know what, the picture, the image I'm going to use for this cover is going to be the thing that reminds me, that you can rise above. And so when you're in that spot, anybody who's out there with your business, just like you said, when you share a story, storytelling sells, and it helps to grow your business. And so when I shifted and let my business with a personal brand, I have this beautiful ecosystem between my company and my personal brand, and that drives it and it leads it. So don't be afraid to step out, even further for yourself.
No, you're so true, Queen. So what I want to do, Queen, I want people just to leave any lasting things or thoughts. I want to take myself down for like 30 seconds and just use the stage to, if you want to talk about the book a little bit more or anything that you want to leave, and I'll be right back and we'll close out with how they can contact you again.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I thank you so much for tuning in and watching this broadcast. Only thing I want to leave you with is, just always make sure that whatever you want to do, you have an idea is attached to your purpose. Be able to execute that and move forward. So don't hide on that book you want to write. Don't hide on the business you want to start, anything like that. Get the help that you need. I help people connect the dots strategically, and I help people start their businesses, help them get unstuck and pivot if necessary. But you just make sure that you form the plan. Don't forget the plan. Don't skip any steps, and move forward and get the help that you need. And I'm here for you as well.
Oh, see, love it. Okay, people, there's no excuses. Now I'm about to get on the audience. There's no excuses not to reach out to this wonderful Queen, Sacha Walton. Lady, thank you so much for coming on the Coaches Lounge. You're always welcome. Like I said, you're family now, and you're always welcome to come on. Everybody you see, I have her email address there. No excuses that you can't contact this lady if you need help. Like she said, she helps entrepreneurs, in the mental wellness arena, but she has so many other things she does. She's empower you, like I said, I want to say, help you with implementing strategy processes in your planning, marketing, branding, just really working on you to be the better you. And that's what it's all about. Because you got to start here. You got to start right here, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. It's been awesome. I have to get you on my show too.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, this is like I said, I love this show because I meet so many wonderful experts. And like I said, I always put royalty to it, put the queens and kings there. Yeah. So if you are looking, like I said, looking for a wonderful strategist, business strategist, please reach out to this lady. We will be back next week. We come on every Friday where we're bringing on the spotlight and these wonderful experts, advice for life in your business. And if you want to be on the show, if you want to be on the Coaches Lounge, reach out to me through Messenger, through Facebook. We will get you on. We'll get you on the calendar, because my mission in life is to make sure, just like this queen here, is to make sure that you are expressing your true self, and you can do it right here on this show. It's all about spotlighting the coaches, the consultants, and educators of this world. Thank you, lady, for being a lighthouse to the world for everybody else.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you many, many blessings.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Bye.